Hi, everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to a Friday night live stream. Now, I very typically do them on Saturdays or Sundays, but I thought I'd throw this in there as a little bit of a bonus. Of course, the other problem is I don't schedule it, which is very much my normal thing that I do. So yeah, I thought I'd just talk about a couple of things. Hopefully, we might have some new people watching live. Of course, the more notice I can give you and the more pre-notice I can give you, you can kind of plan around your day maybe to watch this, or maybe you're doing things or not doing things at certain times of the day. So yeah, I see some people live here already, so thank you. I see 7 likes, which is really amazing. And I see currently, well, it's kind of jumped really crazily. It was 18 people. Now it's jumped to 31 people. So thanks for the early viewership. Perhaps you're a new viewer to the channel. I was hoping to see some chat, but there's no chat. So maybe, Dimmer, if you're still there, maybe you can just chat in the comments just to make sure it's definitely working. I'm sure that it was turned on. Yeah, Dimmer's basically was the first person to put a comment. So Dimmer from Russia, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, of course, he's from Russia. He has a YouTube channel. I wonder if you guys know his channel. He's currently not in Russia. He left Russia due to this situation right now and all the things going on. And he's documenting that basically in videos from where he is at the moment. So it might be worth checking out his channel at some point. He is also one of the channel moderators. So thank you, Dimmer, if you might take care of anybody who should or shouldn't be watching or typing something untoward. Very typically, though, in my live streams, it's very normal and calm and nothing's much going on. You can see how unprepared I am today. I don't even have a drink by my side here. I do have my trusty Chernogolovka Mandarin here, which is essentially Russian Fanta. I've got a lady now who hooks me up. In the store downstairs from where I live, I've got a place called Krasnobyle, or Red and White. It's basically an alcohol store that sells actually more than just alcohol. I've actually done a video on it. If you might want to look it up, it's basically about the liquor store in my apartment building, but they never sold this particular flavor and type. And I showed it to her. I told her you need to order some, and she has. And she kind of puts it aside for me every few days when I go down there. Well, not that often, but Ernie's here. Hello. We'll get through a few hellos and some greetings. And then we'll basically just talk about this and that. Wow, lots of people here for unscheduled live stream. Maybe Fridays are a good night to do them, I wonder. Yeah, we'll actually talk about also the last couple of videos that I did on the channel, just to see what you think. There's a crazy amount of comments, so thank you if you're putting comments on videos. Super appreciative of that. Yeah, it's 4.6 degrees outside here in Moscow region right now. That's getting a little bit colder. It got down to about 1. This is Celsius, by the way, so depending on where you are in the world. 25.4 is here in the kitchen. We have nice double glazed windows. That's my balcony. Well, my view from my balcony right here. There's not a balcony, actually. The kitchen basically had the balcony removed, so it makes the kitchen bigger. And then we've actually got a nice sofa behind us here. But yeah, it got down to about 1 degree last night. It's currently 4 Celsius, according to the Google temperature here in Moscow region. Yeah, and 25.5 in here. There's a nice central heating bar right next to the desk on this side over here. You can't quite see it, so it keeps the kitchen nice and warm. I hope the sound is coming across good, and the video I am trying to improve. It's very difficult to improve it without spending a bunch of money on a new camera. I've been trying to look kind of like for secondhand ones, like on a kind of Facebook Marketplace. But here they've got one called Avito, which you can buy things off Avito. So if I can maybe get hold of some sort of nice digital camera, and hopefully my wife won't throw me out the window for spending money on a camera. So I don't know. We hopefully can do that. Please don't go to the USA. Oh, okay then. Jack Kiriev. How are you going? I haven't seen your name in the chat before. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be lots of new people here, maybe today or in other future live streams, because we gained just under 5,000 subscribers in the last 7 days, which is just incredible. And thanks to you guys for watching videos, maybe liking them, then clicking subscribe to watch future videos. Am I not happy in Russia? Paul 650. I am. Now, it's obviously very difficult to answer questions without everybody in the world having an opinion about Russia, have an opinion maybe about me, if you know me or not, I don't know. But I like the town that I live in. I like the area that I live in. We don't live in Moscow as in the center of Moscow. We're about 50 kilometers southeast of Moscow, just basically down the main highway that leads in and out of Moscow. So yeah, we live in a small town. It's in what's called Moscow region, which is kind of the outlying areas of Moscow. The thing is, I've been offered to go back on cruise ships. And if anyone doesn't know, I've worked on cruise ships on and off for nearly 20 years. And I literally have received an email technically yesterday. I did actually receive some other emails of a couple of weeks ago, but this has kind of gone a little bit skew-if that's the right word. So we're going to see how this goes now. So Yuru, hello, g'day. I don't really say g'day like the Australian g'day. It's very hard to say it, when you're kind of forcing to say it, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, Dimmer's in Kazakhstan. That's right. So yeah, if anyone wants to check out his, check out his cabin. I'm thinking about cruise ships and cabins already. Check out his channel. Actually, in Russian, it's canal. So that's why I was going to say like canal as in cabin and then channel. It's very strange how you say canal, YouTube canal. So yeah, stay in Mother Russia. All will be good. I'm Miroslav. I'm not sure what those last couple of words are. I'm sorry. Hello. Again, I can't read Russian. I can read an occasional metro station or bus station stop. But that's about all. So where in the States? Get out of that crazy place. It would be Florida. Basically, the cruise line company that I work for has an opportunity to go and work in the US and work for the company on the cruise ships, but in and out of the US, out of Florida. Actually, one of the jobs was actually from Baltimore, but there's also out of Miami and then Galveston, Texas. So there's actually a couple of different places. I don't really have that choice right now, ultimately, but Slava Rozia, hurrah, comedy POW or POW, POW, I wonder. Hello, you should come to the US. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I've been to a lot of places, mostly coastal places in the US, from the cruise ships in all the years. New York, Boston, Baltimore, Florida, pretty much every stop in Florida where cruise ships go to. My last cruise ship, this is now the whole thing with this decision, is my last cruise ship was when COVID basically shut down the cruising industry. So if anyone doesn't know about what happened, basically all the cruise ships around the entire world stopped sailing almost within the same time frame, within about a month or so. Every cruise ship sent all their guests home and then eventually sent all their crew home. And then the ships went into what's called cold layup. Some went into warm layup, some went into cold layup, mostly cold layup because they didn't know the long-term future of what was going to happen. For about 2 years, all the cruise ships around the world essentially dropped anchor and stopped. They left limited crew members on them. Now, as the chat gets a little bit faster, by the way, I won't be able to keep up. If you do want to chat with each other, just put an @ symbol, the @ the A that you do for like emails, and then type the person's name, and then you then can chat with each other, and it'll highlight on their screen. I will try to keep up with the chat, but it's obviously a little bit difficult, and I jump around a lot, so excuse that for doing that. Yeah, so basically I got sent home March 2020. So yeah, it's over 2 years now that I haven't been on a cruise ship. In that time, I was basically at home. My wife and I basically moved, let's say, to Australia. My wife has residency for Australia. She has Australian residency attached with her passport. Essentially, it's a visa, but you call it residency. There's no visas anymore. It's all electronic. So she can freely live in Australia. I have a residency for Russia, so I can freely live here, which is what I'm doing. And then now I've basically got the chance to go back. The problem is I kind of had the chance when I was in Australia when the cruise ships restarted, and they needed staff very, very quickly. And they were basically, wanting people to come back the next morning. Obviously, when you've been sent home from, during the COVID kind of lockdown, and they called it a pause in operations, is what they called it. Everybody kind of found other jobs. They found lives on land. They basically resorted to not thinking they'd get back on the cruise ships. And then all the cruise line companies started calling saying, we need people back. And a lot of people turned them down because, 2 years later, most people couldn't just sort of sit on their hands for 2 years and wait for that phone call. And then for me also, I'd found a job in Australia. My wife had work in Australia as well. We'd found an apartment that we were renting and enjoying living in. And then things kind of took a bit of a turn, and then we decided to move to Moscow, or back to Russia here, if you want to say back. And then here we are. And then here we are now with this kind of decision. I didn't look at what the poll is. I did put a poll up. Let's press close. So what are we at here? This is might be interesting. 118 votes. If you haven't voted, you're welcome to vote. It's a very simple poll. 42% says videos in Moscow. 10% says back to cruise ships. 48% is up to you. I probably shouldn't have done the third choice, should I? I don't think I should have done that third choice. A lot comes down to money. I think everybody who has a job, everyone watching this, short of who might have won a lottery, or bet on a horse that won big, or they went to the casino and won big, and live in the Seychelles under a palm tree on a tropical island. I think money makes the world go round. I think is that an expression some people use? My wife and I live a very modest, very simple life here in Russia. We don't live exorbitantly. We basically do what we need to do, pay our bills, live as we are. We do things we want to do. We go out when we want to go out. So a lot comes down to basically the cost of living. Would it be better to stay here? Or would it be better to go back to the ships to earn money, to save more money? Obviously, maybe spend more money. This is the difficult part. Dimmer, hi to Kazakhstan from Moscow. You can't work in Russia. I can work in Russia as an English teacher. Yeah, that's pretty much the predominant thing that a lot of native English-speaking people do. They tend to do that as a job because it's obviously fairly straightforward that you could do that. I don't have any certificates of, let's say, teaching, or I'm not a teacher, of course. I'm a salesman and I'm a YouTuber. I'm one of those two things. I'm sort of stuck in the middle now, aren't I? Mal, by the way, thank you for the super chat. I very appreciate it. It's £2. Thank you. If I was in the UK, unfortunately, that would be going on Walker's cheese and onion crisps. Actually, what I really want is Bisto gravy. My wife, who's Russian, of course, is craving gravy on roast beef. Now, we figured out how to make roast beef in Russia, like a Sunday roast. But we want some Bisto gravy. We can't find it in Moscow. It has to be somewhere. And if there's a way to get Bisto gravy. That £2 basically I'll send back to you, and you can send me the Bisto gravy. Ernie Hernandez, yes, hello. Tony Johnson. I'll just whip through the messages here because it's going to be a little bit long, and I like to keep up with it, but it's very hard. Tony Johansson, sorry. Come to Florida, Megan. Yes. The problem is, by telling all of these things, my wife is now going to listen through the wall, with a little glass to the wall, and she's going to want to come. And obviously, the challenge for her is getting a US visa is near impossible right now. I would essentially say impossible, maybe near impossible to get a visa for her. And if I tell her I'm going to come to Florida and I've got a chance to go to the Universal Studios, I've been there a couple of times, an Orlando area and things like that. The ships go to Port Canaveral, so obviously if you're in Florida, you'd know that well. Try looking for a Sony RX100. Yes, Jacques, I know this camera very well. I think that's the one with is that the one with the side screen or the flip-up screen? Yeah, if I could basically plug that into the computer here, and then above the webcam that I'm using off my laptop, I could then basically just, I've also already got, where is it? Sorry. I've already got this bracket mount, so I can mount this on the back of the desk, and then I just basically put the camera right on that. That is the plan. Getting this, actually, I got this from AliExpress. Actually, my neighbor bought it for me because I don't have AliExpress account. I ordered it. Well, he ordered it. I tend to send him the link, and then boom, a few days later, or 3 or 4 days, I got it. John, is that John? Sorry. John Snell, hello. You can use it as a webcam without buying a capture card. Yes. I do actually have a Dell box that basically puts the laptop into the 2 screens that I have right here. So basically HDMI, I could put it straight into this. I would love to do that. I'd love to be rich enough to do that, if that makes sense. You can use it, yeah. Hi, Russell. Difficult decision, but personally, I would be thinking of leaving. Kevin, thanks. Yeah, it's not a matter of me leaving. Well, there's a lot of matters, and there's a lot of, questions back and forward between you guys and myself and my wife. She would still be here, of course, and I'd be there. The contracts on cruise ships tend to be 6 months, sometimes 7 or 8 months. They were looking at doing 4-month contracts, but it's just too challenging with the flights and the cost of flights. So they're basically doing 6 months. Come to Chicago. Let's do lunch. John Glenn, or Glenn John, I would love to come to Chicago. I've not been there at all, apart from the airport, maybe once or twice flying in and out. I haven't been to Chicago. So yes, I'd like to go to a baseball game. I've been watching the World Series every late night. It's on here. I can get the live streaming TBS or TNT, I think what it is, or FS1. Lacey, hello. Ernie, follow the smart people and leave. Yeah, okay, this is the problem with being in the this little YouTuber group that I've set up. There is obviously some people who have left in that group for whatever reason. They've got their own individual reasons. It's not really kind of the same answer for each person. So stay in Russia. It's more safe. Elijah, there we go. It's going to be, hello from Finland. Yes, I would like to be in Turku, Finland right now. There's a cruise ship being built there called Carnival Celebration, which I did ask to go on, but they said that the team is full. It's already, all the spaces are taken. But there's currently a ship sitting in Turku. I wonder how far you are from there. Hi, Dima, respect for escaping. You won't. I wouldn't leave Russia for the US. The quality of life in the US is terrible in terms of city life. And things to do, food, etc. This is coming from an American who left America to live in Novosibirsk. Oh, Jacques. There we go. That's interesting. Yeah, most of my time wouldn't be physically in the US, but one of the ships is doing 3-day and 4-day itineraries. So you're there basically twice per week where you can get off the ship and do normal things. And then there's obviously the offices and the warehousing there in Florida as well. So, oh, hello from the UK, Mal Bissett. Yeah, thank you for the super chat. Super sticker, I think it is. Yeah, there's a super chat option and there's a super sticker option. I should stay. Oh, I can't read the Russian writing, so hopefully that's all nice. If making videos ages you I guess that makes you happy, and you don't miss traveling the part if Russia banned YouTube. Guy L. Oh, hello. By the way, I did see some of your comments on the videos. Yeah, I don't think YouTube will be banned. I mean, of course, I don't have any foresight or information or knowledge. I think a lot of people have managed to get around pretty much all of the social media companies that essentially have left Russia, if you like, by using VPNs. So pretty much everything is still completely accessible. I have the same thing that I just pull up a VPN when I watch the sport or when I want to go on other social media applications. I'm not using them nearly as much because I'm tired of having on my phone. I've got a VPN app that I log into first, then I log on to whatever the app is to use social media. So anyway, thank you. I'm baking in Russia. Oh, are you? Oh, I'd like some cookies or something or a cake. I didn't have any sweets. I had some chocolate today, but no sweets. Good to see that you bothered to have a shave. Oh, thank you, Ross. Yes, if you watched yesterday when I was at the shopping center, yeah, I looked kind of terrible. Yes, my wife forced me to do that. She went out today herself, and she said when she comes home, I better have been shaved and showered. Sorry, is that on which side is that? Oh no, it's just a reflection. Yeah, have a shave and a shower, but my face is very red though. I don't know if that shows up as much on the camera as I think it's too. Oh, that's too bright. I've got my different mood lighting on today, so sorry if it's kind of one-sided. Oh, that's weird now. Yes, yeah, I feel much better after a shave and a shower and cleaned up, if that makes sense. And you at Florida, yes. Sunshine State, haha, say hello to COVID. Oh, I'm not too sure what the situation is with that now in the world. It sort of disappeared out of the news in Russia, for sure. That's the one thing. In my opinion, if you want to leave Russia, maybe take a scenic journey from Moscow to Vladivostok via the Trans-Siberian Rail route, then from Vladivostok, travel to China. That would be very cool. I've talked about this a lot. Actually, I talked with Dimmer about this, about us possibly doing a Dimmer. Now you've left, you're not here, so I can't come to start the journey from St. Petersburg. I really don't want to do it on my own. I'd like to do it with another person. My wife doesn't want to do it, 1,000%. But another Russian person who would like to do the same journey, I would be all over doing that. And I reckon just seeing a bit of the world. Good evening, buddy. Yes, here supporting or dual supporting. Thank you, Faceless Chef. Again, more YouTubers in the channel. Faceless Chef UK has a channel about cooking. If anyone wants to check out his channel, he's in the UK. Yeah, basically, do you like the US, Megan? I do. I working on cruise ships for so many years. I mean, look, I've never lived there permanently in terms of house and things like that. So I can't really talk about that day-to-day life. I mean, I know about most of the things that is very accessible, and my last ship was out of Galveston, Texas, so we were on the island of Galveston for quite a fair bit of the time. So yeah, I mean, the greater kind of country of America, I like the fact that it's so diverse in all the states. Maybe I'm going to say the word crazy political system there I don't really like, because it's like 50 states, 50 laws, 50 rules, 50 different opinions. I'm not big on that part about it. So yeah, as long as it doesn't ban YouTube. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to say that wholeheartedly. I don't think it's going to happen. I was living in Russia 4 years, 2 years. I didn't know Russian language was hard. I teach I teach alone watching YouTube TV channels. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that a little bit more, Miroslav, to watch some different YouTube channels to see if I can pick up on it doing it that way. Hello from Belgrade. Glad to see you here. Gleb. Oh, Gleb, is this you? Gleb as in my neighbor, Gleb? Again, we need to get together for you to come on a live stream whenever you need to sort out your Wi-Fi, you told me, or your internet. I emailed you a link to explain about what happened with Huawei. Thank you, Frank. I'll have to check my email. I didn't look at my email really most of today. So, meaning, okay, I can't read that. Could your wife move with you to the US and get a job there? John, the hardest thing would be for her to get the visa. It's she could get work. She's obviously works in her own salon, in a nail salon. I think they would really want Russian nail meisters or nail salon specialists in any kind of I'm going to say high-end salon versus a normal salon. So if she could get a visa, yes. People don't forget likes. Oh, right. Okay. It takes time for her to get a working visa. Yeah, the working visas, I've already got a work visa for the US that allows me to basically fly in and out. It's a 5-year valid visa. I got that prior to flying from Australia to Russia last year. So I kind of secured that. There's a few different super chats here. So excuse me if I don't mention them as quickly as they come up on the screen. Go back to the cruise ships, Russell. If things go upside down again, you can always back to YouTube. Also, you can continue growing I Like Cruise Ships. Yes, I do have a second channel called I Like Cruise Ships. I've really not posted to that in the last, 3 or 4 months, I think now. Bebel Cruising is also a channel member. Hello. There's a couple of channel members here, I think, as well. So, yeah, and I hope you liked I didn't reply to your comment, but I hope you liked the fact I noticed you in the video there at Ashan yesterday. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I could go do the 6 months, come home or come back to Moscow. I can fly in and out of Moscow freely with the visa I have for Russia, and then essentially for the visa to go in and out of the US, because I've got the I've got the Russian visa in my passport. I've got the American visa in my passport. So do whatever you think is right. Eduardo, yes. Hello, Eduardo, by the way. Talk it over with your wife. What's her opinion? All right, so I'll just call out a couple of super chats because it's super nice of people who are doing super chats. Pirate Craggy, long time no see. Long time no see. I don't schedule these. I just do them spontaneously. I did kind of plan really to do a live stream tomorrow, the next day. I really want to do a members only live stream, and I just need to get together with you guys to figure out a good time. Probably not everybody will be watching at the same time, but thank you, Pirate Craggy. Plenty of ports all over the world. The world is your oyster. Do whatever feels right. Do whatever feels safe. Onwards and upwards. Thank you for the £5 also. You're also a channel member as well, so if you want to try to catch this channel live stream for channel members, I really want to sort it out and do it. I think I'll just do it, and even if I'm chatting to myself, I think I know that I've done it, and you can watch it on replay. Rudy Kesley, hello, by the way. I maybe haven't seen you in the chat before. Thank you for the super chat. You're a shopper, a seller at heart. You can do that YouTube work anytime outside of RF, Russian Federation. Only go to a firm job. Yeah, definitely it's a firm job. I do know the people. Actually, essentially, I've got the job, if that makes sense. I do need to do what's called onboarding, which is the job interview. I need to actually go through HR and do the job interview. I know people who already work for the company, and they really, really, really want me to go and work on ships. And yeah, shopper and seller at heart. Yes, I think does that come across in the videos, like my easy open nature? I guess that's right. Easy open nature. Yeah, thank you again for the super chats. If you do any, thank you very much. A lot about not going back to cruise ships and not earning money on cruise ships, and obviously selling is commission based as well. without having a job here, I don't have a job here. I essentially do YouTube. So whatever earnings I have from YouTube is my wage in Russia. If that makes sense. Well, I'm pretty sure it does. If I don't work and I do videos. So a lot is dependent on me making more videos more often. Wait another 6 to 12 months and see where the world goes. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, it's, look, I've been here now more than a year already. So I've already kind of got through that first year of being here. I'm coming into winter now. I actually like winter versus summer here. I think I'm the only person in Russia who likes winters. So yeah, Celestial Dragon. I was going to say Crystal for a second. Yeah, my wife kind of wants me to go because she knows I can go and buy some duty-free things for her, like new handbags, new perfume, new sunglasses. So she sees all the perks with me going back to work in a shop and selling or buying things. And obviously, considering most brands have left Russia here, there's obviously an opportunity to be in America and buy them cheaper. And the way the ruble is here at the moment, everything has gone up, especially on imported items, has gone up what I'd call exponentially, or it's gone up a lot. So I know the minute I leave, she'll not want me to leave. And it's kind of a tough situation with this because if I do the interview and they're like, okay, you've got the job, we want you to leave next week or next month or next Tuesday, then we're going to be, I don't want you to leave. If you're happy here, stay here, keep making videos, keep filming the ones that you like to film. By the way, Dimmer, if you want to delete any comments or you don't feel that they're appropriate, please do so. That's all I can say. So her opinion, it kind of comes down to, I want you to go to bring me back some sunglasses or perfume or whatever is in the duty-free shops. But then the day I leave, she'll be regretting that I'm not here. Or when she comes home from work, I'm not here. Or, when we go into Moscow together, we go to the shop together. We're not there doing it together, So I just graduated from tourism management recently and was interested in working in cruise ships. What's your take on profession working on cruise ships, Russell? Gato, it really depends on the position that you have on cruise ships. This is the big X factor with cruise ships, is what job or what position that you would have. People work very hard on cruise ships. There's no hiding how hard it is. If anyone who's cruised before, I know Bearbull has. I'm not sure if we've got any other cruisers that know me from the other channel. It's 70 hours per week as a minimum. I always say that it's typically 70 to 90 hours a week. Legally, you can only work 70 hours, 10 hours per day, 7 days a week, according to maritime laws. So, what job you're doing in that time frame depends on what job you're doing. It depends on, your capabilities. Obviously, I can't work in the engine room because I've not got any skills or trades or anything like that, or I'm not cleaning cabins, or I'm not washing dishes, or I'm not, the water slide attendant. So the position you do varies a lot on your enjoyment of working on cruise ships. You can teach English in Moscow. I'd like to figure that out, Elijah. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to, even if it's just basically meeting with people who want to talk English. I'd be happy to do that. I just need to find people who would be happy to do that as well. It's nice to see the culture. Yes, Paula. Yeah, I think, there's a lot of negative feedback from the videos that I make. There's obviously a lot of positive ones as well, especially all the new people who came over from Appalachian. I don't remember the channel now. Appalachian. Is it Appalachian? The channel that sent a lot of people over in the last few days. Not Petra. Oh my gosh. I don't know everybody's name, but I was told I've mispronounced it. So Hey, Russell, dropping in while I'm not hurting too much. Did you do something today that's hurting? No worries, just do it. Yes, that's the tough bit. Hello from Russia with love. June Jane, hello, by the way. How about I give you a better recipe for gravy using the beef stock? That would be cool. If you know, I'm not a cook, by the way. My wife can cook. I am in no way a cook or a chef, or I can do the absolute bare minimum. Oh, Patara, Trinity's Aussie Garden. Is it Patara? Is that's how it's pronounced? Sorry, I'm just reading the chat ahead of me reading the chat. So, shame I can't post you some. Yes, yeah. Someone sent me an email yesterday offering to send me sleep masks for me to promote on the channel. Now, I've never promoted anything on the channel ever. I feel that every email that I get is fake. And someone said, "Oh, we can send you some face masks." My wife does use sleep masks. Sorry, sleep masks. My wife uses sleep masks occasionally, and I'm like, "Oh," I say, reply back, "Oh, I'm in Russia," and they're like, "Oh, we use FedEx," and FedEx apparently is not sending to Russia, so that ended pretty quickly. I'm pretty sure the UK to Russia may be working, but I don't know. Please work anywhere but here, unless you're planning on doing YouTube. I could do YouTube videos from the cruise ships. You can't film too much on the ship in terms of the back of house. The cruise lines now have very strict social media policies and guidelines, and you sharing too much information. But I could make videos about in the ports of call, which is what I'd like to do. How to get to the beach videos, maybe reviews of. Wow, it's gone dark all of a sudden. Why has it gone dark? Let me move that a little bit closer. Maybe like reviews of some of the hotels or day hotels. What do you call them? Day hotels. Don't forget likes. Yes, 96 likes. Thank you, everybody. Whoever's done a like. She can go through Mexico as long as she is willing to take nanny type of jobs. I can get her a job. Michael, yeah, she would probably definitely want to do something to do with nails or beauty salon sort of thing. I don't know about the whole going through Mexico part to get to the US. That's definitely not, where people are doing that to cross. It wouldn't be a thing. It is a flip up screen. Yeah, Jack. Yeah, I know this camera very well. This Sony one that you mentioned. I think the other one's the ZV-1. I think that's the one that people talk about as well. Yeah, that will be sad if you leave. Yeah, June. Thanks. You're not talking about politics, showing only beautiful things. I already unsubscribed all Russian YouTubers because only for a few dollars they're abusing and defaming their own country. Decent party planner. Yes, this is a very difficult situation to talk about because I know some of the people who have left Russia. Obviously, I know Dimmer. I've never met Dimmer in real life, but we have done video calls with each other. We do chat a lot on social media. Obviously, whatever reasons people that have left, I don't understand all of the reasons. And I kind of feel like I understand them, but I don't agree with them. So I know what you're talking about, decent party planner, in your comment, and I kind of agree with your comment. In Russia, wives are always watching you. It's a no joke. Our Regent Cruise Line, what? Brian, I'm not sure what the question is about Regent Cruise Lines. Finally caught alive. Yes, I am here live. It's currently 10:12 p.m., by the way, so I'm not sure where you guys are in the world. Trinity's Aussie Garden. My wife does nails. She runs her own salon in the same building where we live, downstairs. It's basically like a hairdresser's / nail salon / beauticians. So she's got a separate room with a glass wall, window, door, and so on. And she got her own. It's basically by appointment only. She doesn't sit there all day like the hairdressers do. She basically does by appointment. So it's like kind of handy. She can just literally just come home, get the elevator back to the house, and then she tends to try to book people back to back so she can, do multiple services per day. But basically nails, manicure, pedicures, Russian style. I'm going to say go back to cruise ships, but I'm biased because I want to see you there. Mac, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's, I definitely would do videos in the ports. I know they've still to this day get views. If anyone goes over to the I Like Cruise Ships channel, any of the port of call walkarounds that I've done get views. And I know they're successful in terms of what I can easily make on that channel. I really wanted to do all of what I've done here on that channel because there was already an audience, but obviously it's a different audience. You guys know that, right? I mean, people don't tend to watch something on the video channel of somebody that's a bit out of their niche, unless you really like the creator, I think, right? So is being on cruise ships, but based in Thailand or another Southwest country possible? Yeah, my wife wants to go to Bali. Again, the problem is with her getting a visa, actually, even for me, sort of thing. You can get like a holiday visas, like 1 month or 2 month holiday visas. I have told her to look up the Indonesian embassy in Moscow to see what they offer in terms of work visas or a long stay visa. And several cruises I live in Florida. I went out of Port Canaveral once. Yes, I've done a lot of cruising out of Port Canaveral and Cocoa Beach is the nearest beach, but Merritt Island, Walmart, and Merritt Island Mall, I know very well. So my brother is moving to Moscow from Florida. That's interesting. Wanted to do what's best for you and your wife. Yeah, the whole money thing. So basically at the moment we are living off the money from YouTube. So basically when obviously you guys watch videos, or especially anybody that's outside Russia watches the videos, there's ads that play either kind of at the beginning or the end or in the middle. YouTube kind of chooses how they put them on there and how many and when and things like that. So you don't kind of get videos on every video, if that makes sense. But here in Russia at the moment, basically because there's no ads or ad revenue for Russian views, I'm watching YouTube Premium here, so for free. So yeah, this is the thing. It's basically, can we continue living off the money from YouTube and being able to pay rent, of course, electricity, water bills, whatever, things like that, versus going back to the cruise ships. Me working on cruise ships is basically has no cost to me. So I'm not paying for anything, essentially. All you got to really do is pay for anytime you get off the ship, like when you go to the beach or somewhere, or maybe for amenities like toothpaste, shampoo, deodorant, things like that. But all your meals are provided, your cabin's provided. To an extent, your uniform's provided. They want you to bring it nowadays, but they do kind of provide the uniforms. I have my own uniforms with me here, by the way, so I already kind of brought them from Australia. I've also got work shoes ready as well. I already have them. I kind of have everything knowing that I was possibly going to go back on cruise ships. Thank you for a couple of super chats here again. Pirate Craggy, easy open nature. Yep, you are fairly open. I think we could easily, given the situation, have a pint and chat with you. Yes, Pirate Craggy, I can get along with anybody, literally, as long as, well, we don't even have to have a topic, honestly and truly. I can talk about anything if you kind of come up with a topic. And Ernie Hernandez for the microwave again. Thank you. Yes. I think we just need to go and buy it. I know I've said this a few times. Yeah, it's not going to be for my wife's birthday. My wife's birthday was, by the way, on the 3rd of October. So it's already like 2 weeks gone already. No, it's on the 5th of October. What am I talking about? No, 3rd. 3rd of October, 85. I'm getting 5 and 3 mixed up. My birthday is on the 3rd of November, by the way. So just thought I'd say that. But Um, yeah. By the way, yeah, it's for the microwave. So yeah, it won't be for her birthday. She decided she wants to get some new prescription glasses for her birthday. That's basically, the fancy, not just the classic ones that you can buy at the optometrist. She wants to get kind of fancy framed ones with the brands on the side. So she already has the prescription because she went and got her eyes tested a little while ago. So I didn't talk her in or out of anything. That's what she decided she wanted. So I've left it to that. If it's a benefit your family, then God bless you. David. Thank you, by the way, for kind words. Yes. Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, if I went for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, I could save money, or we could save money for whatever we're planning to do. We'd like to get a bigger apartment to live in here. That was one thing that's kind of on our list of things to do. We're kind of happy in the place we live in. We like this absolute building. If we could live in a place with more rooms, all we need is one extra bedroom or room. In Russia, they call them 1, 2, or 3 room apartments rather than 1, 2, or 3 bedroom. So I really just need a separate YouTube room, if that makes sense, or a place I can set up a more permanent YouTube room. It's a benefit. I will not leave Russia if I were you, at least not for the USA. Marilyn, success. Hello to you, by the way. A lot of new names, so thank you if you're watching for the first time. I am a person who likes to go read the comments. Obviously, the comments go quicker than I can read them, so I don't tend to be very specific, but so yes, thank you. Problem is with cruise ships, the companies are all based in the US. The cruise line companies are predominantly all based in Florida, in Doral, or in Miami somewhere. There is one based in the UK. Also, there's, I think, Princess, which I wouldn't work for, but ultimately they've got an office in Seattle. You can use platform to find a better job. Use platforms to find a better job. I need 7 days to find my first job in Moscow. I didn't know from Russian language. Yeah, I guess I was really looking and hoping somehow I'd make a connection with someone locally, or somebody here, or some of the kids in the school who might want to do not necessarily English lessons, but where we could just basically talk. We can go through words, sentences, and do something more where it's just informal kind of English teaching. Well, interesting to hear that. I guess it depends what city you're talking about in the US. All cities are like you describe. Yes. Now, whatever you go, staying with your wife would be the best opinion. I wouldn't leave my family, Mac. Yeah, Mac, my wife and I have gone through this for quite a lot of years, particularly in the few years while we were applying for her Australian visa. I went back to the cruise ships because we were waiting for her visa to come through. So we already understand that situation. Obviously, it's a lot different now because of the situation here in Russia. Back then, it was obviously, let's say that even before COVID, it was very carefree times. We knew we could do things on the drop of a hat, if we needed to. Now it's a little bit bigger decisions to make. Trina, would we come back to Australia? My wife slowly starting to miss it. We needed to come back here. Ultimately, she had to do a surgery. I've talked about this before on and off. She had to do a surgery that she could have got done in Australia, but it was just easier here. She had a lot of dental work done here that she struggled to do in Australia. She just wasn't happy with whoever she was getting dentist work done in Australia through. Yes, I would like us to both move back. I just needed to love it more every day, because I don't want us to get there and then she misses Russia. I think as a guy, or me, having traveled a lot and been on the cruise ships for a lot of years, I can kind of deal with it a little bit easier than what she has. Yeah, US will likely be in a recession next year. Don't think you can bring the wife anyway. Yes, it is a problem for her to get a visa. She could get one, but it's just challenging. I think that's the best word I can kind of say. Difficult, hard, challenging. Pirate Craggy, again, thank you for the super chats. Ernie and yourself are both talking about the microwave. Yeah, I guess you guys all want to see it back here somewhere. This is where it'd have to go. We have to clear it. This is my wife's section of the kitchen where she puts all her things because the sofa, well, it's been hard to see. There's a sofa right behind us. So she kind of has the sofa there, then everything just goes on that kind of kitchen countertop. There you go. This thing right here is a jar of natural honey. It's a huge glass jar where you just glob in a spoon and get honey out of. So yeah, at this rate, the microwave will be gold plated. A dangerous yet lovely looking microwave. Yes, actually, if anybody did watch the Russian electronics store video, that's El Dorado, which is literally a 10-minute walk from my place or our place where we live. So that's easily where we can go buy a microwave from. This is how easy it is, and I make it so hard to go and do it. I would not go back to the US, brother. US is already in the early stages of massive recession, crime, things like that. Yeah, that's. Sarah says, "I wish your wife and yourself had got out of Russia earlier. Please leave by any way you can to anywhere but there. I think it's going to get pretty bad there." Yeah, so far nothing has changed. I guess things like this mobilization that's talked about is probably the one thing that has, let's say, changed since February. Where people have chosen to leave for the reasons they may be mobilized or may not be, or they may be subject to it. That's the thing. It's difficult. I think Russia will get what it wants. China would, I'll do it. China would be a great choice for somewhere to live, but it's far from easy these days. Yeah. I've watched a couple of English-speaking YouTubers that have lived in China, and they talk about the, not so much probably the strictness of it, but just the, things about the visa procedures and the rules and regulations and things like that, and starting businesses or getting jobs and things like that. I've got a friend, I think she's still there, or she moved back now. She teaches English there. So I'm pretty sure that whole process of being an English tutor or teacher is an easier process to get the visas to work there as a English speaking non-Chinese person. Work via Port Canaveral cruise ships. Would love to see you on the Carnival. Yes. Port Canaveral. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which ships or from which port yet, if this works out. Maybe I'll just fail the interview and then I'm not going anywhere. So I'm from Portland, Oregon. I'm not going back. Oh, Privyet from Sochi. Oh, Vladim, hello. Здравствуйте. Kurasi, hello. Oh, there we go. I know somebody else from the comments. There's this guy driving from Moscow to Europe each 15 days so buy cars through the Latvia. You can go, not need to go to China. That's interesting. Drives all the way to Europe every 15 days. Wow. David, thank you for the super chat. It's very appreciated. I'd be best to leave now and not drag it. Passion still seems to be cruise ships, and you will not find it or up to the level you find outside of Russia. Thank you, David. Yeah, look, I've done cruise ships for so long. I'm going to say it's in my blood. I've actually got a cruise ship t-shirt on. Anyone can see that? Can I hide the comment? Let's see if I can hide the comment there. So that's my Carnival Dream t-shirt. I always forget the screen's flipped. So these are my homeware t-shirts that I wear. I don't wear these out at all. So thank you. Yeah. Look, I guess if we're going to leave together, my wife and I, it would be to Australia. She wants to go to Bali, but that would be just too difficult for visas and living there. It would be I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's very, very difficult to do that. That'd be something I'd do when I retire a long time down the track. But my Russian wife wants nothing to do with it. Alan, well, let's do it together. You want to travel from Moscow to Lake Baikal? Yes. Alan, if you want to do it together, I'm up for it. Hopefully you can figure out how to buy the tickets, or at the train station we can figure it out together. Now, if YouTube will be banned, there is RuTube and Zen. Yes, my friend talked about this yesterday, and she said it's not particularly good, RuTube. So don't forget likes. I've never been on a cruise ship. It's something I have never wanted to do. Have you ever talked Emma from Cruise Ships channel? Yes, I don't know her. Emma, I'm not sure. Is it? I know her cruise channel. I've not watched a lot of cruise videos recently. She's English. I've watched some of her videos. She seems very nice in her videos. So I'm sure in real life she is as well. I do know her channel though. Could my wife go to Australia? Absolutely. We could get on a plane tomorrow or tonight, or it's too late now. She has she has Australian residency, which we arranged now, well, 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, originally. First stage takes 2 years. The second stage takes an additional 2 years. We were fast-tracked because, well, I think the documents and the paperwork that we provided, they must have liked them a lot. I spent a lot of time, a lot of hours sitting in front of this computer putting documents together for that. And we kind of got, I'm going to say the word fast track, but we were in the same line everybody else was in. But I think there was a little bit of positive bias because of the quality of the application. Getting a wife a visa to the US in Moscow is impossible. Would have to go to Warsaw. Yeah, I've heard about this. About the same with the Australian embassy, although it's still operating in Moscow. The one that was in Kiev moved to Lviv, and then I believe now they're doing most of their stuff outside in Poland as well. Could my wife emigrate back to the Australia? Yes. Well, she has residency and living rights in Australia, so there's nothing stopping her going to Australia. And then ultimately she would have to end up with an Australian passport, which takes another, well, I guess we're about 3 years. I think it is 2 years or 3 years more for her to get an Australian passport. And she could hold dual passports. She could have a Russian one and an Australian one, and then still be able to travel here visa-free back to Russia. Once you'd give up your Russian passport or it expires, you would need a Russian visa as a Russian to come back to Russia, which is a little bit crazy, but obviously traveling an Australian passport, that would be required. So, sorry, this live stream, are you going back to Carnival? Ralph, it possibly would be Carnival, more than likely would be. The people that I know for this company, it's not the same company I'm currently, well, have currently worked for. It's another company who has a lot of staff that work for the other company. So, and the one lady is insistent that that I apply and go through the whole procedure of applying and then do this video interview that I got the email for again. Must have been 2 days ago now, not today, not yesterday. You're pleasant and easily approachable. You'll do well wherever you go. Thank you, Mac. That's very nice of you. I've changed screens here, by the way, so I can see when super chats come up because they come and scroll past too quickly. Why are you shifting for a country you don't even want to live in? Why are you shilling for a country? Last Tapper, I'm not sure if you're talking to me about what I'm talking about. I've never talked badly about any country. I don't have any reason to. I don't sort of take politics into account when I talk about things and places and things like that. I see it in media, on the news, on television, on internet, on whatever it is. I mean, now the big deal is in England with the Prime Minister stepping down after 44 days. I think that's a big crazy situation. My wife, today we were watching the English Sky News on YouTube, the live stream. And my wife was talking because she kind of likes Boris Johnson because of his crazy hair. And she's kind of like, oh, he can come back into office, And yeah. Does your wife want to leave Russia? Someone has mentioned she could go to Warsaw to get a visa. I think you could get her out of Russia. She, this is hard. Yeah, she originally wanted to come here because she had to do a lot of things medically. We've kind of got past that thing. She still wants to get a driver's license, a Russian driver's license, which is crazy here to do that or get it. We do talk about it a lot more at the moment. So we have a studio. If anyone's watched that video about my wife buying a studio recently, or a while back now, recently, the dollar against the ruble is at the lowest it's been in a lot of years. So the value of the ruble sending it to Australia is at the highest at the moment. So that money, if we were to sell that studio, is worth more than it has been in the last 5 years. Earning dollars and bringing it to Russia is the lowest it's been in 5 years or longer. I don't know. So earning Australian dollars and bringing it here is not particularly good at all right now. Wow, that light's now very bright. Come on. Sorry, just noticed there's like massive shine on my head here. So yeah, so she's very torn about it. I'm happy in either place, if I can say the word happy. Sorry, everybody, if I say I'm happy. I'd really want her to be happy. And I think it's more her being happy in one place or the other that's more important for me than, well, it's more important for me that she's happy than I'm happy, if that makes weird sense. Sorry. I should check out an appliance store, Crypto Daddy. A lot of Russian sold. Okay. I have filmed in an appliance store. I think it's like the second or third last video on the channel. So, someday and once, even so often when I cruise, I'd rather see you on a regular basis on YouTube. Oh, Mac, thank you. As much I'd love to meet you on a cruise ship someday, and once every so often, I'd rather when I cruise. Yes, I think I've got that right. Cruise ships, you're guaranteed to get the disease. Yes, no. I think there's higher percentages of getting things off the cruise ships than on the cruise ships. Bring her with yourself. Yeah, Skull P. Oh, hello, Skull, by the way. We did talk about her applying for jobs with the beauty salons that are on cruise ships, but the guarantee of us getting on the same ship is near 0%. It would be more of a fluke than a possibility of working on the same ships together. Kelly says, take the job. You're happy just talking about cruising. Yeah, I think it's just a forever thing. I mean, let me end the poll here, and I'm going to put another poll, right? And I want people to answer this. Are you happy in the job you currently have? Now, for anyone that doesn't work or is maybe retired, or I'm not sure, you won the lottery like I talked about at the beginning. Currently have no or yes. Please answer basically based on a job that you had, I guess. Let's see how this kind of turns out. You don't like your friends on cruise ships right now, and they both. Oh, your friends on cruise ships, and they both got the disease. Wow. Let me just teach languages. Mutiny the cruise ship and opponent, your captain. Patara. I think. Wow, I'm really, really behind. Not even in. I'm going to skip through a lot of this. Why would you go to the US instead of Australia? That's crazy, in my opinion. A lot of Americans are moving to Mexico City from the US. Greetings from Murmansk. Nelly, hello. How are you going? Canada is a very safe place. Yeah, this was actually the plan of Gleb, my neighbor upstairs. That was one of his long-term plans, was to move to Canada. He's currently in Belgrade, Serbia. I'm not sure if he's still watching. Oh, look at this. Okay, only 24 votes. You guys need to. So are you happy in the job you currently have? So basically based on the job you have or had, I guess, or whatever job where you get paid money to go to do something on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You should stay in Russia because you talking about okay, how good it is. Yeah, the ZB1 is great. Just remember, only the RM1 version has built-in headphone jack. Oh, Mark 5 doesn't have a headphone jack, so it's good. Not good for portable vlogging. Good morning, Shah. Hello. Siwa. Skull Peter. He was away. Okay. Teaching English. Good money. Yes. I need to find wherever that is. He's not that teaching. He's not that great. Learn Russian. It will be easier to teach English here or there, I guess. What does Jen do and where does she live when you are on a cruise ship? So, I guess counting back the last 4 years, she was in Russia because she didn't have the visa for Australia. She was denied a visitor's visa twice, or a tourist visa, to get into Australia twice. So that didn't help at all to come to Australia and be with me. That's why I've spent so much time in Russia. It was considerably easier for me to get the Russian visa and come to Russia. That's why I've been here on and off now 9 years. So don't sell yourself short. You'd be a great water slide attendant, helping keep those kiddos and adults who act like kiddos under control. Yeah, I don't know about standing at the water slide all day and not going on it. That would be bothering me, that I can't just have a slide and test it out, you know? You can do the cruise ships just for money and go back to Moscow. It will go a lot further there. Inflation in the US is out of control. Yeah. You should learn the Russian language. I wish the Russia was more like Sweden. I think well, there we go. Now I'm really behind. Couldn't you record videos about life on board the cruise ships as a member of the crew without violating? Yeah, Bebel, you can film things. You just have to be careful what's behind you or where you're filming, like in terms of in crew areas. They don't want you to show crew areas or, like that. That's why I filmed a lot of the public areas, walk-arounds, like on the horizon, for instance. But yeah, crew areas are basically forbidden to film. Like all streamers and old luxury cruise ships. Oh, there we go. Do I have any Russian patriot friends? My wife's very good friend down the road here. She is as Russian as they come. Most of the people that I know are younger than me, and I find they're a little bit more opinionated about the situation going on. But we do have a very, very. She actually even has the Patriot. Is it Vaz? Patriot? It's like the Russian four-wheel drive as well. Your videos on the cruise ships are awesome. Definitely made a good choice staying close to the port in Ocherios. Thank you, Mac. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, well, there's a lot of opinion about Ocherios. Iceland's a good place to live. Yeah, I've been to Iceland on the cruise ships. I went to the thermal hot springs there. I'm teaching English in Moscow and now Russian. Elijah. Oh, there you go. My husband did cruise ships on the Mississippi for 3 years after the army. Isabel. Wow, that's interesting. I always saw those paddle steamers that were docked in New Orleans when we were on the cruise ships there as well. I think I'm going to just scroll right by everybody here Tiamat, hello. Lovely to hear that the two of you talk things out. Do what's best for you too, and you'll be happy. Thank you. Pirate's his own boss. So what are we at? So 52 votes. Man, why is everybody not voting on this? That's interesting. 35% no and 65% yes. They actually are happy in the job that they currently have. So that's interesting that more people are happy than not. I think we all love to hate going to work every day. I think, is that true? I think we all love to hate it. Third choice, more realistic, would be sometimes. Shall I change it and do that? Oh, chat is back. People don't forget likes. Okay. Yeah, 153 likes, by the way. Thank you, Elijah, for keep to the typing that. Come to Norway. You have cruise ships a lot and big boats there. Yes, I've got one friend that's from Norway. And I think he works for not the tourism. I think he does like some of the excursions when the ships come there. And he basically deals with the passengers that come off the ships that come to Norway. Hi, they're moving out of Russia. Think carefully. You need to be wealthy enough. Inflation back in the US is ridiculous and real estate is super expensive. Same in EU. I'm a US citizen living in the EU. I've just scrolled right through all the comments, by the way, to catch up. So I put it onto viewer activity. So that's why I can see these super chats kind of pause in a different screen. That's why I can kind of pull them up. Whereas when you guys are chatting, it's just going a lot faster than I can read. Not voting because you're retired, Susie. Fair enough. Maybe based on what you previously did for a job. I don't know if that was kind of the whole point of it in a way. But I guess it's still, even with 60 votes, it's still 65% yes. That's the one thing that I always, when I go downstairs to the liquor store here, this Krasnobila, this red and white store, there's a few guys in there that I see every day. I know them well because I'm there so often. And I told them that I was working on the cruise ships in the alcohol store, selling spirits and things like that, chocolates, cigarettes, duty free. And I've done a few like Google Translates to the one guy that genuinely speaks. No, he can barely even say hello or thank you in English, which is understandable, right? He's not expected to know English. And and I said, oh, it'd be interesting to get a job here working in this shop. He's like, oh, you don't want to work here, like, it's too hard. And I said to him, that if you enjoy going to work every day, it's not hard. If you like waking up and going to work, then, it's really not hard. It's not something that's in your mind before you even go to bed at night. It's not in your mind when you wake up. You know what I mean? It's not a drag on the cruise ships, you literally get dressed, you walk down a corridor, you get an elevator, you go to work, and you're at work within, 5 minutes, if that. Waiting for the elevator takes the longest part. So, if you don't like that part, this is talking about working on the cruise ships probably more than on land, I think. But, talking to the guy downstairs, I said, look, if you enjoy your job, it's not hard. You know what I mean? You can come to work, you can kind of just grind through it. And it's fun and interesting to be there. The pace of that little shop downstairs, it's insane. There's always people in there. There's always a line to check out. It sells a lot more things, more than just wine and alcohol now, and beer and all sorts of things in there. That's where I get the cheap eggs, 39 or 49 ruble eggs. On the cruise ships, and I say this a lot to a lot of people who work on cruise ships. Oh, I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like that, And as we say on the cruise ships, you can go home. You don't have to be there. Of course, you've got a contract that you've signed, but you can walk away from the contract. You can sign off. You can go home. And I say it a lot, you know what I mean? If you really want to make a thing of it, you know what I mean? You've got to get past those kind of bad days, and, and it'll eventually gets better, but where people just, I'm going to say the word hate. I don't like saying the word hate, but where people hate going to work every day on the cruise ships, then they shouldn't work on cruise ships, because it's it's really a different life. It's kind of very isolated, that you're on a ship in the middle of the ocean. I guess people in the Navy or, things like that could associate with that, or maybe people that are, where they're working offshore somewhere, or I don't know, middle of nowhere. Retired very early, Jacqueline. Love life now. Hated job, but followed Dave Ramsey and saved for 20 years. I've never watched Dave Ramsey. I guess I think is he on the YouTube, I think, as well, right? I've never watched him. June, yeah, I missed a lot of messages. Yeah, sorry, I did skip over because it just was going just nuts. Promote the cruise lines, tour the ports, give the viewers tips. There is, it's not a matter of pitching to the cruise lines. You can do it on your own. You just have to pay to go on the cruises. The cruise lines don't necessarily give free cruises to film videos. They don't really have to. There's more than enough YouTubers now who fund their own cruising from making YouTube videos. If I think now just of the ones in the ports of call, if I was to fly to Cozumel, hypothetically, to Mexico, I could grind out 10 or 20 or 30 videos there that would be associated with the cruise ships. Primarily, it would be about getting off the ship, going to places, going to some hotels or some day resorts, and they would get views forever. As long as you sort of answer questions that people ask, it's kind of a searchable video on YouTube then. Can you and your wife get a tourist visa to the US and rent an Airbnb? I already essentially have a visa to go to the US. My wife, we just talked about this. It's near impossible to get one at the moment. The embassy, I believe, the US embassy is still here. I just don't think it's operating or working to the full extent. And a lot of people tend to leave Russia to go to another country to apply, like someone mentioned about Poland and Warsaw, to get the US visa application done there. But then you've got to go back and forward if it's not done on the spot or within a day or two, so do whatever's best for you guys. Brian, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of talking it through here in a way. I'm not sure if I'm really coming to any decision. I think it's kind of like an hour of talking about it and then not, there's a lot of factors. There's two lists. I've talked about this before. I think that, there's two lists that have got a lot of things on them about staying here or going, being a YouTuber or being a salesman. This is exactly what I talked about there. So YouTube is not easy either. I'll admit that, especially when I started the channel from 0.0, nobody. The idea was to start it with, not telling all your friends and family and things like to subscribe. And you want to get organic viewers like yourself that kind of watch it. Primarily Traveling with Russell is about me. But mostly the videos I do show places or show things that I see. And I talk about it from my point of view. It's not easy to do YouTube and to be successful on YouTube. There's only a few % of people that really are kind of in that upper echelon of YouTube, no, it's hard for the wife to get a visa there. Yes, going to work in a city that you love also really helps. Enjoying going to work rather than waking up and going to work in a city you dislike. Yes, I agree, Jack. Back in Australia, I was working doing merchandising in supermarkets. I was working for 3 different companies because it was all casual jobs. And I really liked going to one specific supermarket, but it was about 45 minutes drive from where I live. But I really liked the staff in there. I like the people every day. We had a good laugh and a carry on. And, it was kind of funny because the staff in there, they just go to work and do their job and you go home and you get paid. But, there's a time when you can have a good laugh about it and have a bit of a chuckle and a joke and, in a supermarket working, and I was working for a third-party company that came into the supermarkets to do merchandising. The supermarkets outsource the jobs to different companies. But, I mean, I was willing and happy to drive that 45 minutes every day rather than go to a supermarket. Well, the nearest one was a 5-minute drive. So yeah, like you say, traveling to and from work's important. I'm self-employed, so if I don't like my job, it's my own fail. Yeah, that's the thing. I guess that's the YouTube thing, right? It's, the thing with the YouTube, it comes down to me continuing to make videos and continuing to upload videos. There's one of the guys on YouTube says, just press record. That's his motto. He teaches you about making YouTube videos. So he makes money from teaching you how to make money. It's like a infinite cycle, But he says, just press record. And that's as simple as it is to start YouTube, supposedly. Cruise ship jobs, not too many tourists traveling. Yeah, the cruise ships aren't sailing full. That's definitely apparent. Cruising is coming back mostly because a lot of the guidelines and restrictions are being taken away. Things like mask policies, negative COVID test policies, the 1.5 or 2 meter rule, depending on where you are, 2, 3, 5 foot rule. They're taking that away. They're re-implementing they took away a lot of the little perks and quirks on cruise ships during, the return to cruise ships because of the COVID restrictions. So I owned a couple of businesses in the past, so I enjoyed working on my own boss. Husband works as a truck driver now. He loves it. Great shortage of truck drivers that usually pay for your training. Yes. In Australia, I actually did a forklift driving course. At the time, during COVID lockdowns and things like that, they had a lot of people who lost jobs, and the government implemented a lot of free trainings to retrain people or to take on new courses that would let you maybe change jobs. And I did this. It was actually a storage and warehousing course. It was over 2 weeks, but it was actually really cool. And I sat with a couple of older guys that were definitely older than me, more, mature age guys. And we had a great 2 weeks doing this training. And we were with a whole lot of, I'm going to say, serial unemployed younger people. Sorry if you're, don't like that answer, but who essentially will never get a job or never want to get a job or never want to work hard. And these 2 guys I sat with there basically were put out of work because of COVID, and they wanted to do courses to get some certificates and some trainings that will help them find jobs, and they just want to work. And one of the guys actually had training experience, and the company where we did the training at actually interviewed him to be a trainer at that place, which I really hope he ended up getting the job. I don't have contact with him now. So yeah. That forklift course was very cool. I really enjoyed it because we got to drive forklifts and teach us tricks and reversing and loading and unloading. They had this mock warehouse in the training center set up. I'm an ex-Moscow expat. Used to live in Russia for 25 years. Oh, there you go. K. Hetch. Yes, I'm in southwest Moscow, very close to Vnukovo Airport. I'm essentially, depending on the weather and the wind, I would be in the flight path for where the turning circle is for the airport. I'm almost certain the town we live in is a waypoint, because if you ever look at flight radar or whatever, they're turning right. Actually, the last probably couple of days, I've not heard airplanes coming to and from, so they must be on the other weather pattern for arriving. I guess it's very wind related. Can you and your wife get a 3-month tourist visa to the US, rent an Airbnb, and see if you like it? The cruise industry in Florida seems strong. Yes. Getting my wife the visa is the problem. Renting an Airbnb, getting the job in the US for me is not a problem. Actually, quite a few years ago, I really, really wanted to work shoreside. They call it shipboard and shoreside. And just at the time, they weren't willing to sponsor me for a different change of visa because it's apparently quite expensive. So they weren't willing to sponsor me for the work visa. The thing is, my dad's name's Anthony, by the way. The one thing that the companies don't realize, that some people do in the companies that I've worked for, and some don't, is the value of me. And maybe if you're in a job as well, as a salesman, you sell things and you make more money for the company, right? So my value to them is how much I can sell for the company to make money versus the next person who may be not as good a salesman and doesn't sell as much and doesn't make as much for the company. So they didn't realize that the value in what I can give to them would come back in spades, as I say, in spades. I don't know where that expression comes from, but it is what it is, so they didn't want to do it. It didn't happen. So Ukraine is wrong. Russia's always right. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation in quite a lot of the different news sources. That's the biggest thing. What's happened there? YouTuber is a sales. So you feel the Russian ruble might be artificially propped up due to what's going on? If so, maybe it's cash out your student and buy in another country almost in cash. Mac, yeah, this is actually my wife and I talked about this at dinner tonight. At dinner. We had dinner. We had chicken wings, by the way, barbecued chicken wings, homemade barbecued chicken wings. And they were okay. They weren't amazing. I think we got the wrong barbecue sauce, but and we talked about it today. And I'm explaining there that at the moment it's almost like at a 5-year high, us taking rubles out of Russia, or at least transferring them to another currency like US currency, Australian currency, British currency, versus me bringing dollars here and then having rubles to buy a place here. It's at a 5-year low. So it's costing me more to bring money here than it is to take money out of Russia. Oh, someone thinks it's a racetrack downstairs. So yeah, this is what you're talking about. It's all correct. Yes. I'm an angler. I make enough money to live on a bank fishing 2 days a week, 2-3 days a week. I work to live, not to live to work. Yes, that's an Australian saying that we say a lot. We work to live. We don't live to work. Yes. Organic viewers. I'm one. I grew myself in peat moss. Glad to be here. I like all your one-liners, Pirate Craggy. Honestly, I hope in real life you're exactly like this. I know, like Gleb, my neighbor who just left. And actually, even the video I made with Atom at the electronics store, he was very quiet in the video, but we went and had those shawarmas afterwards, and we went for a nice walk where we live. And we just get along, like just constantly talking and chatting and having a laugh, and and I'm pretty sure, Pirate Craig, you're the same way. Good luck and any way you go. Thank you, Samuro Adventure. Bearbull, you're not crazy. I hope you're not. Lacey, of course, you guys are both long-time watchers of the channel. Parcels from abroad in the US is definitely doable. Time-saving machine. I don't know about this company, by the way. I've not heard of this. We are looking at a way to figure out how to send my wife's nail salon equipment to Australia. And that's going to be a challenge going forward, because actually what I was thinking of trying to do is take more equipment and selling the Russian-made nail salon supplies. Go take a job. If you're earning enough on YouTube right now, stay. La Avoc. Yes, that's the Almost that's the same title of the video, actually, because it really comes down to, can I kind of push making YouTube videos a job? It really comes down to really the amount of views per video and the amount of non-Russian views. Non-Russian views is critical. I'm sorry, everyone who's Russian watching this and you are following it in English, but that's the critical thing. You know what I mean? Even my dad kind of says, "Oh, aren't people bored of watching supermarket videos by now?" And like every time I make them, they make a lot of views. So I guess people aren't bored of them. There's obviously a lot of positive and negative comments that come from them. So I'm an East Brunswick, New Jersey expat. I used to live in the US for 35 years. Yeah, I like. I've really not been to New Jersey, but I've been to New York on the cruise ships. Follow your heart, Russell. Money is not all. I worked for one of the biggest banks in the world. I knew what I'm talking about. Visas or not visas, there will always be a way around. Correct, John. That's absolutely right. Yeah, while we've been living here, my wife always says to me, "Aren't you bored? Sitting in front of your computer?" She thinks I just sit in front of the computer, by the way. Answering the comments takes a lot of effort. Creating the video and then the editing I'm not amazing at, but it comes out okay. And I'm happy living here. The town we live in, I like the town we live in. I mean, there's obviously a million places we could live in Moscow region, Moscow, closer to the center. But my wife doesn't work in Moscow center anymore. She works right here in our building. So when going back before we moved to Australia the year before, she was working and traveling to and from Moscow every day, close to 2 hours each way each day she was doing. So it would have been a factor to live closer to the city if we were then. But, this quieter town now, actually, it's pretty, it's obviously 11 o'clock here, but it's pretty quiet outside. You hear an occasional crazy person flying by the road because they know there's no traffic. But that's the thing, right? If I can kind of just find peace in living here, I'm kind of okay, whatever is best for both of you is the right choice. USA is good. Plus, it's easy making YouTube content there. No matter where your road goes, I wish both of you the happiness. Arnie, thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I could kind of switch over to the cruise ship channel and make videos over there. The traveling part over here, I don't want it to become such a vlog channel. I really still want it to be an informative channel where it's, searchable videos or searchable content videos versus, I went to the beach or I walked to the park videos. I mean, I think you need a lot more of a community around your channel for that to be successful, because that video just won't come up in search for somebody else who, types in something into YouTube, so you can, as a person, get a visa to Russia now. Do you know something about it? Yes, you can apply to on the Russian. There's the Russian embassy in Australia, actually in Sydney. They've actually got the one in Canberra, but all the visas go through the one in Sydney. You can apply online. You just go to their website. I guess Russian embassy in Sydney, you just Google it. And then there's a application you fill out online. These are the visas that I did in the past. Pretty much it fills in on the application. Then you print it out. It's like 3 or 4 pages, depending on how much information it asks you for. And then you need an invitation. So you've actually got to get an invitation to come to Russia. Pretty much the tourist one is very straightforward to do via hotels and tour booking companies, things like that. And then basically just put in the information from that. It's like a certificate with a stamp on it. But it's definitely able to be done. You mail it off then to Sydney with your passport photo and the payment for the visa with your passport in it and the whole lot. And then depending on the wait time, it's like 7 days or 10 days or 14 days. The airlines are still flying here. So from Australia, Qatar Airways, Emirates, Etihad. I know they're definitely flying here. Lawrence on Carnival laughed when I mentioned the soda stashes you both used to collect. Yes. He's actually in Turku, Finland right now for the startup team for Carnival Celebration. I did voice chatting with him a few days ago when he was out walking in the town. Yeah, he and I had a big stash of Coca-Cola. My God. We had a bit of an illegal stash, and then we had a legal stash between us because we both like Coca-Cola. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's probably just Lawrence and I's thing. That's why I told you to mention it. Thanks. Yeah, he wants me so badly on that ship, and I just couldn't get on there. So I even offered just to go for a couple of weeks, just to go to Finland, do the startup, fly back to Moscow, help them do the opening of the shops, and then leave. Thank you, Pirate Craggy. Money for the first prepared meal. Microwave lasagna. Yes. Oh, feeling that pot noodles is good. Yeah, I do pot noodles here a lot. We've got one called dosarak. Dosarak. It's basically the tray of noodles rather than the pot noodles that you'd be used to. It's a flat tray that you take off, you put the water in and put the lid back on. Dosarak. You can get pot noodles here, but they're not really the same as the other ones. And they've even got like pot, like mashed potato as well, where you put the water in. It's like powdered mashed potatoes. Actually, at the video that I did going to Globus the other day, I think I showed the lasagna, the preheated one or pre-made one in there. Love my job and co-workers. Hate management. That's everybody, right? Sorry. I have a 7-year-old Russian-born son. If I were in my position based on the current situation, you'll think about your move. John, fair enough. Yeah, I think like with kids, I think it would be a much easier decision to make if we had kids, staying here or not staying here or going to Australia. Saudi wants to join BRICS. You're very easy to listen to, like sitting in the lounge and having a drink. Thank you, Susie. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I guess I'm just a little bit I really want to read everyone's comments and read back to them. I'd skipped over a whole lot earlier. So, sorry, I'm not seeing any of your ads as I'm using an ad blocker. Yes, that's okay. I mean, no worries. I guess if you've got YouTube Premium, I know it's a different payment that comes via AdSense. There's actually the standard revenue from ads, and then there's the YouTube Premium revenue. So you actually get a different cut, if that makes sense, from the ad revenue from YouTube Premium. Supermarkets are the new religion. More people there on a Sunday than anywhere else. More people are there on a Sunday than anywhere else. Yeah, Saturdays and Sundays here are crazy at the supermarkets. That's why I do all of them midweek. Because really, just trying to walk around and show specific things, like in the fruit and veg section and the bread section. There's just too many people getting in the way. And although I want to show that the shops are busy, I do like to tend to film when they're out of shot. So that's why sometimes a lot of the videos look like there's less people in them, because I kind of let people walk away from where I'm pointing the camera. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Yeah, 193 likes. Thank you. Yes, that's really amazing, by the way. Hi, Russell. Hope you're keeping safe and well. Only just got here, so probably missed too much. We'll try to catch up on a replay later. Thank you, Jan. Was it? Yes, Jan or Jan. Yeah, nice noodles. Sounds good. Yeah, DOS. It's called DOS. I don't have one near. Oh, I don't think we've even got one in the cupboard. I can guarantee. Actually, the studio apartment when we went back recently because we had problems trying to get a tenant. We actually kind of strangely made money because people paid the deposit, then they left, and then the next person paid and left, and we went through 3 people. My wife was willing to give back the money, but both of the people that gave deposits said for us to keep the money as a sorry for them not staying longer than one girl essentially stayed 2 days. The other family stayed a week. And then now this couple, it's a very young couple. The guy's only 20 years old with his girlfriend. They're completely happy. So, but yeah, in the cupboard, in the kitchen, when we first went there after the older guy moved out, who's been there forever, it was like stacks of these dosarak noodles in there. We kind of just never touched all the food. We left it in the fridge, in the freezer. And then that couple, the second couple that moved out, all the food was gone. So they kind of cleaned out the cupboards and took everything, but it wasn't ours anyway, right? So, yeah, the COVID testing was stressful, trying to find a place locally to do the testing for my kids just right before the cruise. Yeah, that was. Yeah, and then I think the stress mostly comes from thinking or worrying that you might be negative or positive and not have a negative test when you know you don't have it, but then you think that you might have it, if that makes sense. I know, like when I flew to Russia to come back here last year, my wife was here before me. I had to time was it 72 hours between the test and then coming to Russia. So I had to time what time I even arrived at the testing place, knowing I had to then fly out from Perth. I went with Singapore Airlines, Singapore to Moscow. So yeah, you should do some cooking videos, something like Russian food in Moscow within 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm not very good at short videos. I've tried to make short videos. Yeah, my cooking is limited to basically chicken wings, chicken legs, soups. Guess I could try something. How long have you been in Russia? Pretty much 9 years. It's my wife keeps saying it's like 10 years, but I didn't immediately come to Russia the first time I met my wife in Thailand. We met in Thailand on holiday, on separate holidays. So yeah, 9 years. Only 2 places in New Jersey deserve attention: Princeton and the Haldol radio telescope that discovered microwave radiation in the universe. Wow. I thought the New Jersey Turnpike was like one of the most famous things in New Jersey, Sergey. I didn't know about the telescope there. In San Juan, Puerto Rico, there's a very famous telescope down there as well. And then in Australia, I think it's Forbes. There's a place on the east coast of Australia where they have a NASA tracking station there. Couldn't leave my mother alone and distressed. Wow, that's interesting. I was going to Moscow airport the other day to leave for Montenegro and changed my mind halfway. Couldn't leave my mother alone and distressed. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. In addition, I find Moscow quite on a different level with higher standards of living than Montenegro and most European countries. Yeah, look, there's everything here. I mean, probably not in the town where I am, but if I literally travel, it's about an hour or less than an hour to get into the center of Moscow. But even in the suburbs where you go to the shopping centers, where I pointed out in a lot of the videos, I mean, everything is available to an extent, right? So, wow, that's mad. Sorry, just talking there about you going to the airport, then change your mind about your mum. yeah, I guess things like health is an issue. I guess she's probably more worried about you than you are about her, because parents worry about their kids. So, g'day from Australia, WG. Hello, how's it going? You shy away from talking about your views. Viewers have strong beliefs on this. Can you safely share? BC, it's very hard. It's not hard to share and talk about. There's a lot of YouTubers that are doing this. Most of them are all outside of Russia now. Does that make it better and easier for them to talk about things? I've never made this channel about, I'm going to say the word politics. You know what I mean? I've never really delved into politics as a person myself, in terms of, am I on this side or that side? Am I pro this or pro that or pro the other? I think everyone definitely has a right to their opinion of what's going on. I think there's a lot of, what do you call it? Monday's experts, or I don't know what they call them, where people have a lot of opinion about what's going on, but have never been to Russia or to Ukraine. While we're talking about this, I guess, right? And it's very challenging, the situation. I think even some of the military officials in the Russian military say this, without blatantly saying what is happening. They're saying it's very difficult right now. It's very challenging. It's, the words that they use, because they know that it's very difficult. Where, what they're doing or what they're attempting to do. I guess the one thing we don't know, well, no one seems to know the answer. I guess if there is Russians watching the live stream, we don't really know what the end game is. What is the last situation? You know what I mean? If that makes sense. That's what we don't know. We can all speculate what it is, but yeah. Thank you, Pirate Craggy, again for £3 with the kisses. I'm not sure guys kiss each other. Italian guys do. Actually, Mac was in the chat there earlier talking about Lawrence. And that day we both left from the ship. He left before me. He had to go back to South Africa. I went back to Australia. And talk about leaving a family member behind, you know what I mean? Where he left and I left on different days. But in terms of kissing a guy or hugging someone, I have a lot of time for Lawrence and his situation, So, yeah, talking about the situation, honestly, I would watch, if I could suggest you to watch other YouTubers who are far more opinionated about it. The problem you've got is you're going to get people that are on one side or the other. You know what I mean? So they're either pro this or they're pro that or they're pro the other. And that's then difficult because you're watching a one-sided argument. You know what I mean? You're not going to get people that are on both sides to a point, So, yeah. Yeah, that's his strength. He better stay out of politics. Yes. Wow. Thank you, everybody. Pirate as well. Elijah, thank you. NASA's first deep space tracking station outside the US. Oh, in Woomera. Yes, they've got one in Woomera. That's the NASA one. Yes. Thank you, WG. Where's the one there? They've got there's a movie that they made about it. There's an Australian-made movie about the moon landing. But it's not Woomera, though. It was somewhere else. Oh, my gosh. Parks. It's in Parks. Is that in New South Wales? I'm from Perth, by the way, if anyone doesn't know. I'm from Perth, Australia. We were living in Rockingham by the beach or by the foreshore. Carolina Thai barbecue sauce. No, mustard vinegar, or was it the sweet and tangy barbecue sauce, Kansas City style? It was more like the sweet and tangy. I didn't look at the packet because my wife did it, and then it was already done by the time she brought out the chicken wings. So yeah, it was nothing wrong with the chicken. It was just the sauce that we got. they don't really do good chicken wing sauce here or barbecue sauces. Most of the barbecue sauces are more about about doing meat on the barbecues, not really for marinating chicken. I think we'll just have to keep trying another flavor to get it right. Did you, future trader? Do you speak Russian? Niet. Niet pinilai по-русски. Моя зовут Russell. Маленький or чуть-чуть по-русски. I speak a little bit of Russian. Did you obtain a Russian citizenship? No, not citizenship. I've got Russian residency. The next stage would be, well, you can do extendable 3 years plus 3 years. You don't have to get citizenship. You can, but you don't have to. You can just extend the residency visa. I'm sorry if I was too late, nosy. You can ignore these questions. Thank you. No worries. I've mentioned it a few times. In Russia, we have too much freedom. You can say almost everything you think. It is not good sometimes. Yes, that's kind of true. Yeah, it's there's a lot of people with a lot of thoughts here. It's interesting because the people that I meet or I know, if I talk about Gleb and Artem, and then friends that I know from YouTube, so Dimmer, I've got a few other friends here that are in other cities, English people that I know as well. And, we're kind of curious about each other's thoughts on it. But then we basically don't continue talking about it. We mention it and that's about it, Probably knows, but he won't tell us. Yes. Sorvilken. This is the new guy, right? Yes. Have you ever seen Polar Lights? We watched it recently. I guess you're talking about the Northern Lights or Aurora Borealis. I kind of seen it in Alaska when I was on the cruises. We were doing out of Seattle and Vancouver up to the Ketchikan Skagway on the northwest of the US. But I don't think we saw it properly. There's too many lights on the ship to see the Northern Lights properly. As the great Dave Allen would say, good night, thank you, and may God be with you. Oh, Pirate Craigie, thank you. If I'm a little bit behind, thank you. Thank you for the super chat, super stickers. Of course, you're a long-time watcher of the channel. You're also a channel member. Thank you. It goes a long way to this channel being successful. I mean, I know you're behind the scenes watching and thumbs ups and things like that. So, Elijah, you're a big supporter about the likes. Yeah, it's crazy. There's far more likes than people here. So, I imagine some people joined and left. John Stanicki, hello. Where are we at? By the way, we will end the live stream in 9 more minutes, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, sorry. Right at 2 hours. That's my normal timing. So if you guys want to get any last questions in or talking about things, yeah. Oh, the movie's called The Dish. Yes, that's the one. Yes, I watched it a long time ago now. When I was in Australia between working, my little side hustle was buying and selling DVD movies. Actually ended up being Blu-ray movies because it was far more lucrative than DVDs. But I was building up my own little collection of Australian movies on DVD. And I had The Dish as one of my DVDs. Sam Neill, The Dish. Russell, good morning from Australia. Oh, Trudy, yes, thank you. Trudy loves beauty. Oh, maybe you have a channel. Have you seen any movies at the cinemas recently? I haven't, no. I don't think I've got them on my computer now. I've watched a few. I download some movies. The cinemas here don't have, not all of the cinemas have, even they've got Russian movies with English subtitles. They don't really have any English movies with Russian subtitles, so we don't go to the cinemas here. We download movies and watch them on the computer here in the kitchen. We set up the sofa and everything. I'm watching the World Series baseball at the moment. And actually, if anyone's British or is the Northern Ireland Irish snooker championships on at the moment. Probably not the most interesting for some, but Are you leaving Russia? The welcome mat will be out for you and your wife in the US. Elliot, so basically I haven't been offered, let me say, I've been offered a job in the US working for a cruise ship company, basically for the duty-free company on the cruise ships. I need to go through the onboarding process or the interview process to get the job. But the problem is I don't want to go through it and get offered the job and then leave tomorrow or leave 3 days from now. I really need to think about, do I ultimately, once I get the job, am I ready to leave? So I don't think Howard Bowen, I don't think Russia's going to be a good place to be. If you have the means to up sticks, the world is your oyster. Australia will be my choice, but if you think US, yeah, I mean, it would obviously be easy for my wife and I both to go to Australia because she's got Australian residency. I've just talked about this a few times. Why is it only Qatar Airways and Emirates flying out of Russia, if that's the case? Because of the safe countries kind of rules. So you can fly with Turkish Airlines through Istanbul. That's why you might hear some of the YouTubers that have gone there. So basically, it's where the airlines fly to is the issue or the challenge. So pretty much all of the Middle Eastern countries, pretty much where Russia's friendly with all these Middle Eastern countries, all of those airlines are continuing to fly in and out of Russia. And where a lot of the other airlines are pulled out or they're maybe not considered the friendly countries. So like going in and out of Russia here to Europe, you'd have to go through Serbia, Montenegro, through Serbia and through Istanbul, through Turkey. Or you could go through some of the other CIS countries, like we talk about Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Armenia, Georgia, and then get other airlines from there. But or even through Finland. Okay, for me, obviously I could enter through Finland with my passport. My wife would need a Schengen visa, which is, again, it's another problem at the moment to get those. So, all right. Stay in Russia. There is some cinema showing in English in Moscow. Yes, I know there is some. I just need to find them and maybe go on a movie day with my wife. Rovan, driving in Russia is crazy. The amount of accidents and serious accidents. Actually, my local bus that I would catch to and from Moscow had a crash about 3 days ago. One person died, 7 people in hospital. It wasn't the driver's fault. He was basically clipped by another car, and essentially he was run off the road, and he ran right into the steel railing on the side of the highway, and then flipped the bus over. Crazy, yeah. So my trips to Moscow in the last few days, I've took another bus company. I've had to walk another kilometer to another bus stop, which is essentially is the one that passes the highway to and from my town. Yeah, the drivers are crazy here. I reckon, well, I don't know where they got their driver's license from. I'm going to say that for the bus drivers, the normal drivers, the truck drivers. So yeah. Sorry, boss, I don't own a bus. I'm new to the chat. People don't forget likes. Yeah, afternoon, everyone. Oh, blogging trucker. Thinking of leaving again, Russell. Image collections, hello. I've essentially been offered a job with a different company that essentially does the same thing as the company I've been working for does. And a lot of people have switched companies especially since COVID, because some people obviously settled down. They were 2 years away from ships, and then they've chosen to go back, but to different companies. So yeah, it's basically, you could say the word jumping ship. It's kind of the expression that's used on ships, but changing companies or the concessions that are the companies that operate the shops on ships. Road is a road. We use all the road. Right. Right. Yeah, it's like every time I catch the bus to go to the metro station on the main highway here, it's like, I don't know, we probably avoid a couple of crashes per day, or 2 crashes there, 2 crashes coming home. Avoid them, like near misses. I don't know what is the word. Yeah, I think, but just generally, if I look at driving outside of Russia, you know, they've got licenses, they've done training, they've gone through the courses, they've, you know what I mean? They're probably, let's say the word, more sensible. But in Russia, there's just no sense to what the way they drive, and the amount of people on their phones here is just insane. Pretty much every person drives with having their GPS on, or their sat nav, or whatever you want to call it. So most people don't know where they're driving to. So they don't know generally which way they're going either. You know, so where they suddenly have to do a turn left or a turn right, they literally just skip the lanes and go for it. You know, so you don't really need a car in Moscow, right? Yeah, we've not had one. I'd like one just like for weekends to go somewhere a little bit more conveniently. Pretty much we just use Belka car or Delhi Mobile, so you can get basically the car sharing apps. Yeah, in Thailand, it's very easy to get the driver's license. Only a test, and you can get it on the same day. Yes. Yeah, in Russia here, you can pay the right people to get it. You just need to pay the right people. I know that sounds right, but Junjun, yes. In Moscow, it's easy to go on the underground or go by feet. Yes, especially once you're in the center, to go by the metro. Absolutely. Yeah, I went to go to Avia Park, where I made the previous video from. Literally, I had to walk to the other bus stop. I just didn't feel right getting that bus that crashed. Well, not that bus that crashed, but that same route. So I walked to the main highway and then got the bus to the metro station, and then 2 metros. So you take one, then change, and then you come out right by Avia Park shopping center there. But it's probably an hour and a half to get there from here. So it doesn't feel it. On the way there, it's really easy. On the way back, it just drags and drags to get home. So, all right, everybody. So 2 hours is gone. I'm going to say thank you for watching the live stream. Thank you for the 216 likes. That's super nice of you, for everyone that's done that. And also the amount of people that just commented. Do ask one thing, if you don't mind, if you want to put comments on the video after it's finished. I will try my best to reply to everybody. I do say that I want to reply to everybody, but it's near impossible to do that. So I do my best to try to reply to people. Lars is a new channel member. Welcome, Lars. We're a small community. Lars, I am going to try to set up to do a members-only live stream. It won't be many of us, but I am trying to do it. It would be probably maybe this time or a little bit earlier on a Saturday or a Sunday. I'm not too sure yet. Again, I'm going to send a community poll to everybody for channel members to try to kind of work that out. For the channel members, by the way, if anyone's curious, I don't want to promote things like this, but where people want to join, that's completely up to you. It supports the channel. I do different community posts, and I put different photographs, mostly personal ones, more so than just generic photos, if you like. So if that really makes a difference to you, then you're welcome to join for that reason. Well, thank you. Lots of thank yous. Amanda, Lionel, Elijah, John, Lavavak, Trudy, Rochelle. By the way, hello, Rochelle. I saw that you're a channel. I saw you in a live stream on one of the other channels yesterday, I think. If anyone is maybe in the US and does maybe shop on Amazon, there is an Amazon link in my description. If anyone does want to buy anything on Amazon, it doesn't affect you buying anything whatsoever. But it pays a tiny commission back to me. Tiny, very tiny. Pretty much it's linked to my cruise channel. And there's a few videos that I made about people buying travel adapters and suggesting that you buy a European travel adapter for the ships, so you've got extra plugs in your room. So, and people pretty much buy travel adapters from it, or travel mugs, like the the coffee insulated mugs. My first sale on, not my first sale, someone bought fish tank gravel. That was one of the first things that someone bought from a link from the Amazon. So if you happen to be in America and you use YouTube, use Amazon, there's a link there. If you click through it, it ends up, it's called Amazon Associates, if anyone knows about that at all. I've never got rich from it. I'm going to be very honest and blunt. Some people are very successful at using Amazon as a sales tool for products like, what do I have in front of me? Not too much. Nivea Men's. This is my aftershave balm that my wife got me. The link's in the description, and there's basically a commission paid. I don't really do that, especially not for this channel. I haven't, but do some interactions with Muscovites. It will be interesting to watch what people say. Yes, Lovok, it's very difficult to get those people to do that. I would love to find, particularly people who speak English. Obviously, that would help first. It's very dark again. Why is it going dark? It goes light, then it goes dark, then it goes light. Susie, good night. Yes. Thank you for the interesting polls. Yes. 71% say they enjoy or they're happy in their job. That's kind of very, very, from 167 votes. That's a good thing, I think. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I'm going to say it a lot. I always find it hard to do the end broadcast button because I feel like I'm leaving everybody hanging who's enjoyed watching the last 2 hours, I hope. But yeah, post comments. Reply to other people's comments. I'm sorry if I don't reply to everybody. Especially all the new people in the last week. It's been just insane. If anyone does do the super thanks, which is where you might do a super thanks in a video, I do pin them to the top of the comments because it's kind of nice that someone's done that on their own back. So yeah, thanks everybody. I'm going to do, Lars, thank you for becoming a new channel member. Have a lovely evening. Thank you for the time. Tiamat. Oh, some people who I haven't seen commenting for the night. Elijah, I will check my email after. Maybe not straight away, but after. Yes. All right, everybody. See you in another live stream soon. I don't have any new video planned for the next day or two. I need to go figure out something tomorrow or Sunday, what to film. So I was going to go to my local small supermarket today up the road. And my wife's like, oh, just stay home. It's easy to stay home today. And she actually bought some shopping home when she came back from Moscow. So I didn't go even to my local shop to film something. Ta-ta for now. Yeah, TTFN. Do you say that, Rochelle? TTFN? Ta-ta for now. Yep. Bye, everybody. End broadcast. Thanks again. Thanks for the super chats. Super thanks, super likes, supers. All supers. Thank you, Nelly. Bye, everybody.